If you're starting a nonprofit or growing a nonprofit that's still flying under the radar, how do you raise money if nobody knows about you yet? In this Changemaker Cafe episode, we'll talk through a special framework that helps you raise money for your cause if you're just starting out or trying to kickstart fundraising before your organization is well known in your community. These ideas are all part of my upcoming toolkit that I'm about to publish soon, From Zero to Your Nonprofit's First 100,000, which will give you the full playbook to raise your nonprofit's first goal amount. So if you're interested in getting information about that or an alert when I publish that, you can join my email list and I'll send out a notice when it's live. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on nonprofits, fundraising, and more. And let's go explore this topic. All right, let's jump in. I'm super excited about this topic. I am going to share my special framework that I call the 3 C's framework because I've seen this strategy used time and time again by newer or smaller nonprofits to really kickstart their fundraising. So who is this for? This framework is going to be great for you if you are a brand new organization and you're starting from basically nothing, no supporters, no audience, etc. Or maybe you've already tried doing some fundraising and not had much success in that, which means you might be missing some of the key ingredients in the framework that I'm going to share. Or maybe your organization has actually existed for a while, but it's still relatively unknown in your community and you'd like to jumpstart or grow your fundraising efforts. So if any or all of those describe you, you are watching the right video. So what is my 3 C's framework? Okay, it stands for content, how you educate people about your mission and tell stories to build your audience. Community, how you build relationships with your audience to truly build connection. And the 3rd C is credibility, how you earn people's trust so that they will support your cause. Let's explore each, starting with that first C, content. Okay, so one thing I've said in past videos is this: people don't donate to a cause that they don't understand. So that's why creating compelling content is a really important piece of this. Sometimes we have missions that connect to issues that people just aren't very knowledgeable about, like a rare disease, for example. Or maybe we're trying to tackle issues that are particularly complicated or complex, like affordable housing. Or maybe we want to take an innovative new approach to tackling a community problem that nobody has seen done before, so they don't have a frame of reference for it. For all of these reasons, creating good content that your organization can share on social media, through speaking engagements, on your website, and with the news or media is so important. Even if you know how terrible a rare disease is or how well you think your new approach to tackling affordable housing may be, that doesn't mean that everybody else knows or really understands it yet. So content, especially when your nonprofit isn't known by your community yet, should really focus on educational and storytelling material that helps you explain your mission, why it matters, and how people can get involved before you ask for any money. And this content can take a lot of forms. I highly recommend creating presentations that you can use to do public speaking engagements, using video on social media, using infographics to present data about the issue you're tackling, and emphasizing story-based photos and images. I've personally used all of these and seen them work very well for other successful nonprofit founders also. All right, so what kinds of content should you focus on? I want to talk through a few ideas to help you brainstorm. The first is to teach something or bust myths about the issue that you're tackling. In this example, the organization Pathways to Housing PA shares recent data to bust the misconception that people experiencing homelessness don't want housing. Another idea is to build empathy with a story about somebody impacted by the issue. Sometimes people haven't experienced themselves what it's like to be impacted by poverty or hunger or whatever the issue is that your nonprofit is addressing. So you can build empathy by sharing the stories of those impacted with their permission, of course. Thistle Farms is an organization that I've seen do a really great job of this. Their mission is to help women escaping traumatic situations by providing comprehensive services from housing to counseling to jobs. And they share the stories of some of the women that they've worked with on their blog to help educate people. You can also share your personal connection to the cause. Why does this matter to you? Introduce people to your team and volunteers because people want to know the people behind the mission, and share behind the scenes looks at your work. Great Raleigh Cleanup is an organization that I've seen doing this really well. They use content to show the behind the scenes and the human side of their work. Their Instagram page is just full of stories highlighting their volunteers, talking about the challenges they face picking up litter in the city, and even the emotional impact of the work. And of course, you can always share about your organization's unique or proven approach to tackling the issue. Maybe you're addressing a social issue in a way nobody has seen before, which means you need to take some extra time to clearly explain it to people. This is also going to make for some really compelling content. A Place at the Table is a nonprofit restaurant, and they've done a great job of this too. They use a pay what you can model, which means people pay what they can afford for their meal. The idea is to allow people the dignity of choice regardless of their ability to pay full price for what's on their menu. But when they first got started, people didn't understand how the pay what you can model worked. They didn't believe it was real, or they got confused by the details. So what they did was they spent time hosting these pop-up demonstration events around town and partnering with restaurants to show people how the model worked in action. And today they're a thriving nonprofit serving thousands of people each year. Now, in my toolkit from zero to your nonprofit's first 100,000, I'm going to provide a bunch of templates and resources to help with these steps too, if you're interested in getting that alert, which I mentioned. The link to join my email list is going to be below this video. Now, our second C, community, is going to build on our first C, content. Here's the thing, sharing content is really just the start. It's like a conversation starter, but it only goes one way. So in order to be able to get support from people, you need to create a two-way conversation here. You don't just want to put content out there without a way for people to connect to you further, because this C, community, is all about building that sense of community and connection with your growing audience. To start doing that, when you share content, give people easy and clear ways to connect with you to hear even more about your cause. And don't simply ask them to email you if they're interested in learning more. I found that people won't really make the time to do that unless they're already super motivated. You've got to get more specific. So instead, try something like creating an email list or newsletter that people can subscribe to after they see your awesome content or hear you speak at an event, for example. You also could provide a way for people to sign up to volunteer. Building community is all about deepening connection, building relationships. It's like making plans to hang out after you meet a new friend. So a few other ways that you can build community after you start growing your audience through your content might include things like inviting people to share their ideas or their feedback, like in a poll or a focus group. You could host a meet and greet event where people can both hear about your cause in person and also meet each other too. That's a great way to build community. You could ask your audience for their stories about their experiences with the issue that your nonprofit is tackling. And of course, you always want to be sharing impacts or updates about your progress at least once a month. As you gear up to start fundraising, you'll want to make sure that you are ready to go with a fundraising platform that can help you start to collect your donations as you start to grow. So it's a great time to thank the sponsor of this video, Click and Pledge. As you get a nonprofit up and running, you're going to need a reliable fundraising platform. It's going to help you grow your revenue, collect donations, and build that momentum. With Click and Pledge, you'll get a robust dashboard where you can plan out your fundraising campaigns and monitor your progress for each one. You'll get highly customizable donation forms, in-person fundraising features, peer-to-peer fundraising capabilities that allow your supporters to go out and form teams and raise money in their networks for your cause, video fundraising with a donation link embedded right in the video, text to give features, donor outreach tools and videos to improve donor retention, a complete Salesforce integration, many other integrations, and more. Some platforms are going to charge more based on your organization's size. As you grow, your fees would get higher, but Click and Pledge doesn't do that. Their pricing stays the same even as your donor list increases. And there are no contracts, and all of their solutions are included at no extra cost. I hope you go learn more about Click and Pledge's fundraising solutions, and you can get your first $25 monthly fee waived using the QR code and the links that I'm going to leave below this video. And you can always get in touch with their team if you have questions or do a demo or sign up to give it a try right now. All right, so at this point, you've started to build an audience by sharing compelling content and inviting them to build community further with you through your updates, your meeting opportunities, and asking for that two-way feedback. Our third C, credibility, is the final component you need before you can ask your growing audience for money. It's really simple. Would you donate to an organization if you didn't trust that organization? Probably not, I'm guessing. Credibility is all about establishing that trust. And I've said this in many of my past videos, but trust is the most important thing to be successful in fundraising. If you don't have trust, nobody will support your mission, and rightly so. People need to have trust in your organization in the following ways before they're going to feel comfortable donating. They need to have trust that your organization is doing the right thing for the right reasons. They need to trust that your organization is competent and can deliver its services to the community effectively. And they need to trust your organization and its leadership to be honest and transparent. If you can earn trust in those three ways, you're going to create supporters for your organization for life. Building credibility and trust, though, isn't easy. I'm not going to lie about that. 99% of building trust comes from your actions, and losing trust also comes from your actions. And it's a lot easier to lose the trust than to build it. So given that, how do you communicate in a way that demonstrates your credibility and trustworthiness of your actions? Here are a couple of ideas. 1, you can share your process. Explain how your organization developed its unique approach and services, and showcase how well you did your research and how your organization's activities are based on the true needs of the community and the feedback that you've gotten. 2, involve the community that you want to serve. Speaking of community feedback, getting input and buy-in from the people or groups you want to serve goes a long way to building this credibility. Making assumptions about what somebody needs without even consulting them is a big way I've seen some nonprofits fail. When you start fundraising, this is the third idea, be transparent about your goals and spending. Say, we're trying to raise $5,000 for our first program launch, and here's how we're going to spend it. 4, show how donations helped. As your first donations start coming in, show what you're doing with them, even if it's just $50, show how it helped. 5, celebrate small wins publicly. For example, we raised $250 this week, enough to buy 10 backpacks for local students. 6, show impacts and the work in action. It's easier for someone to believe donations matter if they see it in your storytelling, in your photos, and your testimonials. So keep your audience up to date with those impacts. I'm so hopeful these steps are going to really help you get started if you're beginning with little to no support. It is rough out there, I know from personal experience, and I've seen this strategy work, like I said, for so many organizations in their startup phases. So I'm curious, what do you think? What ideas are you going to try out? What are some other questions that you might have? Share all of your thoughts in the comments below this video. And be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss our next episode, our future content. And don't forget, you can get that link to be alerted about the toolkit below this video and get more free content in my weekly newsletters. All of that's on my website, changemakercafe.com. I'll see you later.